They're for Sigewinne.
Chlorand isn't much of a shopaholic.
Well, one of us has to practice restraint.
Hey, I'm hardly reckless with my Mora. I'll have you know, all the purchases I made today were well within my budget.
Me? Oh, well, I bought some tea, of course. I just had to try all the varieties recommended in the Steambird. Other than that, just some bits and bobs, you know. A little bit of this, little bit of that. They should all be things I can use, I think.
Now Paimon's even more confused. If you bought that much stuff, where did it all go? Into one of Linny's magic packets?
Oh, actually...
Monsieur Neuvillette took them with him.
Oh, so that's what happened. Wait, what? Why did he take them? He's not hoarding treasure, is he?
That's quite the imagination you've got there, Paimon. Monsieur Neuvillette just saw the amount of bags we had and offered to take them back for us. I felt a bit bad at first, but, I really did have a lot of stuff.
He even offered to deliver my gifts to the Fortress of Maripede for me once he's done with the day's work. Neuvillette is a man of his word. If he says he can do something, then he means it.
See, even Chlorand was happy to take him up on his offer. If even his trusty subordinate agreed, then who was I to refuse?
Wow, he seems like a real gentleman. Maybe he's not as uptight as I thought. If only the funeral parlor had an employee as thoughtful, proactive, and responsible as him. Right, Zhongli?
Indeed.
Moran said Nervalet offered to deliver her gifts to Risley. So if we go to the entrance of the Fortress of Meripede, maybe we'll run into Nervalet. But we don't know exactly when he'll show up.
Oh, that reminds me. A new year of work is about to begin. If there's anything you want to talk about, Zhongli, you know you can come to me.
Does the director have any concerns?
It just seemed like you were a bit preoccupied today, and much less talkative than usual. You barely said anything other than, "Is that so?" and "Indeed." If you ask me, I'd say you're having a midlife crisis. You're getting to be around that age after all.
Is that so? I jest. Given its distance from the city, Chaoying Village enjoys a much slower pace of life. Surrounded by such peace and tranquility, I also seem to have developed a proclivity for inactivity. I apologize for making you worry.
I see. What do you think, Traveler? Is this atmosphere putting you in a lazy mood too? Wow, you are getting really good at these kinds of lines.
Indeed.
Oh, that reminds. If there's any.
Does the direct...
It just seemed like you were a bit preoccupied today. If you ask.
Is that... Given its surrounded by... I apologize.
What do you think, Traveler? Is this atmosphere putting you in a lazy... Wow, you are...
Indeed.
Well, everyone, make sure that you've got all your belongings with you before we leave. If there's any souvenirs anyone still wants to buy, the time is now.
Reliable as ever, Miss President.
What is that supposed to mean?
Gloriand is right, though. You really are reliable.
It's not what she's saying, it's the way she's saying it.
I will say, but I never thought you'd be so easygoing outside of work, Gloriand. The tone of voice you use when you're working doesn't exactly make you seem like the type who enjoys interacting with people.
Well, I try to keep my professional and private life separate. That includes my behavior.
You take care now, Traveler. Paimon. Trying to act cool now, are we? Well, I guess it's not an act for you, is it?
You are indeed quite strong.
It's been great talking to you all. Maybe we could go on another trip together?
Well, if there's any
Reliable...
Gloriand is right.
It's not what she...
I will say, the tone of voice you use when you're working
Well, I try to keep my professional and private...
You take care now, Traveler. Paimon. Trying to act cool now, are...
You are indeed quite strong.
Maybe we could go...
It's you. It has been some time since our last meeting. Few people frequent this location. Since I was able to conclude my work early for the day, I thought I might take a walk and avail myself of this area's peace and quiet.
You call this early? Do you always work this late, Neuvillette?
Strictly speaking, that depends on the agenda for the day. I am hardly bereft of time, however, so working late is of little consequence to me.
Really? If you have so much time on your hands, then why did you only go to Chaoying Village for half a day?
First, I should clarify that I was referring to my lifespan, rather than the time at my disposal on any given day. Second, I was unaware you possessed knowledge of my trip to Chaoying Village. I see. Thank you for informing me. Yes, they have been safely delivered.
I have to hand it to Clorant. Just a simple gift delivery, and she has the great and mighty Udex at her beck and call.
I was just passing through. It was merely an act of convenience.
All right. Then I hereby confirm receipt of the goods on behalf of the staff of the Fortress of Meripede.
A verbal receipt of confirmation? Is such a formality really necessary for a small matter such—
Guess not. This quantity of tea, though, seems a little excessive for a gift, don't you think? Before you know it, they'll start accusing me of taking bribes.
About that. Much of that is my own excess, I'm afraid.
Oh? Why? What happened?
It was buy 10 boxes, get half off.
Ah, that explains it then. Well, go ahead and leave them to me. I'll get through this stash as fast as I can.
You have my thanks. Oh, there's something else I'd like to give to you.
This is a stone slate, engraved with a symbolic design.
While that is an apt description, it is in actuality a legal codex.
A legal codex, huh?
Before the advent of modern writing utensils, information was recorded on stone slabs such as this. The law was no different.
Okay.
Since ancient times, the scales of justice have symbolized the fairness and impartiality of judiciousness. As a tribute to that sentiment, this slate was designed after a traditional legal codex and engraved with a symbol instead of text. During my travels recently, I chanced upon a roadside stall offering tourists the opportunity to try the— We joked with Clorant some time ago about gifting you a legal codex. So, here you go.
Ah, so that's what this is about.
I did not expect you to remember it as well. In any case, I hope this can be considered as a reasonable attempt to join in on the banter.
It is a very good attempt. I suppose I shouldn't be surprised. Even your sense of humor centers around the law. That's an impressive level of commitment. Well, a gift of this significance deserves to be put on display, and I know just the place. Front and center in the fortress's showroom.
Surely there's no need for such a grand gesture.
Just kidding. I don't have anything like a showroom. But we do have a storage room. We can put it next to all the mechanical parts Sijuin has collected.
That sounds good to me.
So that's what you were doing in Chaoying Village.
Indeed. Of course, while I was there, I also took the opportunity to taste the local spring water. The aftertaste is much purer than what I have delivered to me in Fontaine. It stands to reason that the long-distance transport has a tendency to imbue the water with extraneous emotion. If you want to experience the true flavor, you simply have to go to the source. Perhaps I should organize some time off to do the same elsewhere. Then we are of the same mind. It appears my desire is justified.
If you say so, but you know you don't have to justify a vacation, right? You can just take, after all, you're hardly bereft of time. You can do whatever you want.
You're quite right. I suppose I suffer not from a lack of opportunity, but rather a lack of inspiration. However, after reading a few articles about Liyue's holiday traditions, the idea popped into my head and made itself quite at home. Seeing as I was free of responsibilities for the morning, I decided to depart at once. Refreshing. My spontaneous outings seem to inspire quite a few other spontaneous decisions as well. Take, for example, my foray into ceramics. At first, soil from the ground is granular and unforgiving, but add the right amount of water, and it becomes soft, moldable, and able to take shape. In the past, I never thought about how quotidian vessels were crafted, but now I have participated in their very making. This is also something I made today.
That's a ladle? Paimon thought it was supposed to be some long-necked sea creature.
That was indeed one of my inspirations. Really? You like it? To tell you the truth, given your unexpected arrival, I find myself quite unequipped to give you the welcome you deserve. Around such an important holiday such as this, human custom would dictate that gifts should be in order. But I'm afraid this is all I can offer. If you'll have it, that is. That is precisely why it would do me such a great honor if you accepted. You are most welcome. Happy Lantern Rite. Approve a leave of absence request for myself. That sounds like it could easily lead to a vicious cycle of self-indulgence, something which couldn't be in further violation of protocol. But I suppose I understand her point. My proclivity to refrain from personal outings does, in part, originate from a sense of responsibility toward my duties. But it is also due to a lack of desire to engage in the human world. But now I see that the human world is indeed full of many interesting places to discover. Lantern Rite marks the start of the new year in Liyue. In the spirit of the season, then, I wish you a year of success as vast and endless as the open ocean. Lantern Rite, in the spirit
Alley-oop! Hup.
That strange feeling is back. It's just like the day I went missing. It's as if something inside me is trying to guide me somewhere. The Motherlode's influence is growing stronger. But is it because we're getting closer to the source? Or because the leakage of Che blood is growing more severe? Jialiang, can you sense which direction the source is in?
I think it's this way. Yes, I'm sure of it. I feel a dull ache in my heart. This must be the way. This place feels familiar. I think I've been here before.
There is an inauspicious presence here. Even I can sense it.
I think I remember this place.
Jialiang, are you okay? Maybe you should rest here while we continue the search.
No, I have to keep going. Jiangli is still waiting for me. Then let's hurry.
A pot of tea with a couple of nibbles, some seasonal greens.
Whatever would you do without me?
This place gives Paimon the creeps. Who knows what we're gonna find up ahead? The digging marks here appear amateur and rather old. I suspect it is a thieves' tunnel. thieves' tunnel? Paimon has heard rumors about treasure around these parts before. Maybe it was the treasure hoarders that dug this tunnel.
Judging by the tools they left behind, it's certainly a possibility. But why did they abandon this place without even stopping to pack up their tools?
I remember now. She took me here once and told me that she'd found a way to save me in this cave. But she said that the method would cause me to, curses! Why can't I remember what she said?
Easy, Jialiang. Come on, let's keep going.
A bitter pill to swallow. Burst forth.
Emerge. The doctor was seeing.
Mind the side effects.
Hey there!
Whoa, there's a sensor here. Those treasure hoarders sure made themselves at home.
I believe this sensor was used to burn a monster repelling incense.
A monster repelling incense? You sure? 'Cause
The incense was burned several days ago. If I had to guess, the monsters we fought just now were enticed here by some entity deeper inside the cave. No doubt an encounter with the very same entity was what prompted the treasure hoarders to flee and abandon their designs on this cave. After them, Jiang Li was the next person to discover this place and what lies inside. But to her, it presented an opportunity to save Jia Liang's life, albeit as a last resort.
That's right. This sensor, it belongs to Jiang Li. Yes, this was the place. This is where I told Jiang Li to give me the poison. I'm fine. Let's keep going. I can feel it. She is right below us, waiting for me. I can feel it. We're getting close. We're almost there. It's right up ahead. The place where we made a pact together to...
do love Spina di Rosula's logo. It was designed by my mother. Have you noticed how it's shaped like a heart?
From the looks of it, the energy released by this mechanism can not only clear barriers, but also be conducted by corresponding mechanisms. Perhaps it's something we can make use of. My time with the Spina has taught me that carrying an unreliable weapon is worse than not carrying one at all. I really want to go traveling. I don't mind where we go, as long as I have my friends with me.
Right here. Emerge.
Witness my great undertaking!
Right here. Right now. Emerge. Right now.
A bitter pill to swallow.
Hey there!
Jiangli!
Look out! There's a monster next to her!
The god remains must have lured them here. Watch my back.
Side effects.
Remember, health comes first.
Feeling lucky? Hiya! Ha!
Dr. Baiju, how serious is it? Is she...
I can still feel a pulse, but her condition is quite grave. The god remains here are encroaching on her cognition, much as the poison in your system did to you. If we don't eliminate it soon, then even if we save her life, I fear that she may never wake up again.
Then what are we waiting for? Let's destroy the remains right away! It's not as simple as that. Don't you remember what Baiju said? The poison within Jialiang's body is inextricably linked to the god remains here. If the source is purged, the poison in his system will stop having any effect. And the poison within Jialiang's body is keeping his heart condition under control. So, if it stops working... Oh no. Are you saying...
Indeed. If the god remains here are purged, then your life will come to an end.
I wondered when this day might come.
Wait! But we've all been working our butts off to save Jialiang's life! After all that, we can't just give up on him! Baiju, you're a great doctor! Surely you gotta know of some other way we can save him, right?
You could continue to take the poison, which would buy you some time. As for Jiangli, maybe if we put our heads together, we can think of something?
It appears to me that she was striving to concoct your medicine for you, right up until the moment when she lost consciousness. Maybe it's her greatest wish that you will continue to take it and live.
Dr. Baiju, Give it to me straight. How long does Jiangli have?
The god remains have reached her internal organs. Under ordinary circumstances, I would give her less than 3 days. But if I were to treat her using a secret art...
But what would be the point of that? Dr. Baiju, I'm all too aware of the dangers of god remains. You are not the first to mention it to me. If I continue to sustain my own life using this wretched substance, not only would Jiangli have to keep risking her life to make my medicine for me, but I would have to live with the looming threat of these remains breaking out and wreaking havoc not just upon me, but my entire family. I know for a fact that I should have died over a decade ago. The fact that I've been around to see Ayu grow up is already a great blessing from Rex Lapis. If my choice can bring Jiangli back, then even if I die...
Jialiang.
After cheating death for so long, it seems I've grown somewhat addicted to life. Traveler, Dr. Baiju, could I have another minute with my wife? I just want to have one final moment together. Just a moment, that's all.
Of course.
Thank you, everyone. And I'm sorry that I won't be able to repay your kindness in this life.
Jialiang. Baiju, Changsheng. Is there really nothing else you can do?
I am sure that over the years, Jiangli will have tried all the conventional methods known to humankind. As for less conventional methods, I have little expertise besides Changsheng's secret art.
Mortals are fated to grow old and pass on when their natural lifespan runs out. If it were so easy to combat the natural processes of aging and death, Jiangli would not have had to resort to unnatural methods. What a crazy situation! Jiangli risked it all to save Jialiang's life, and now Jialiang has to sacrifice himself to save Jiangli!
I've seen many final farewells in my time, but I can never get used to it.
In the human realm, all things must come to an end. Is it not a fitting end to die for a worthy cause? At least, that's what generations of masters before you have always believed.
The path they chose was indeed a heroic one. But when I think of those who would willingly sacrifice themselves for others, I cannot help but think that theirs are the lives least deserving of death.
When all this began, we agreed that once Ayu was old enough to help you gather herbs, it would be time for me to go. If you could only see him now. He took me all the way to Liyue Harbor to see the doctor. And he even got the Adventurers Guild to search for you. So, I know that you'll both be okay without me. I've said my goodbyes. My time has come. Do what you must.
As you wish.
It will eat away at both your cognition and your memories. In the end, you'll become little more than a shadow of your true self.
I'll take it.
Mom, something's really wrong with Dad! Don't fret, Ayu. I will gather some medicinal herbs right away. I promise you, nothing will happen to our family.
Why would these memories come to mind now? The longer we live, the tighter we cling to what we have. Oh, how I would love to hear your voice one last time.
Jialiang! 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 Dad! Are you awake?
Jiangli, are you? Didn't I... Huh? What are these?
How does it feel to come back to life?
Do you feel strange or different in any way? If so, could you describe it to me in detail?
Dr. Baiju, I thought that I was going to...
Die? You did indeed. As things stand now, you're more akin to a zombie than a human.
I'm a zombie?
That's right. Before we set off, I asked Chi-Chi to prepare an elixir of immortality. With its help, you have been suspended in the space between life and death. Of course, this is but a crude imitation of an Adeptus art. I don't expect it to extend your life indefinitely. Whether it will keep you alive for a few days, a few months, or a few years, I am as interested as you to find out. But, however long you have left, I believe it should be more than sufficient time for you to say your final goodbyes before departing the world in peace. I hope that Director Hu finds this arrangement to be a satisfactory one.
An elixir of immortality? How'd you cook that up? Ugh. Leave it to you to work on something like that behind my back.
It's a work in progress that hardly lives up to its name, and it would have had no effect were it not for Jia Liang's iron will. In the end, I am merely a doctor. I understand very little of the great principles governing life and death and the perpetual cycle of yin and yang. All I know is that if I'm presented with a life that deserves to be saved, I will do everything in my power to save them. And even this would have counted for nothing without Director Hu's assistance. After all, did you not tell Jia Liang to show us the way before we set off for Qingsa village?
Oops. And I'm busted.
Nudging things in the right direction, we may not have found Jiang Li in time.
No wonder he didn't mention the elixir back then. I thought he was being frank and transparent with me for once. I'm not.
Director Hu told me to keep her suggestion a secret. Dr. Baiju's attention.
Never underestimate us.
It was to help Jia Liang find his missing wife as soon as possible, so that he could be on his way to the afterlife without any unfulfilled wishes making the journey more difficult than it needs to be. Leave it to Boo Boo Pharmacy to snatch the perfect opportunity right out of my hands at the last hurdle. Never mind. I'll just have to put it down in the books as a deferred consideration. One Chi-Chi was enough of a conundrum. The last thing I need's another one. If I'd known this was coming, I'd have whisked him off to the Wangsheng funeral parlor the moment I found him.
You stay away from my dad! When I grow up, I'm gonna become an even better doctor than Mom and Baiju, and cure Dad for good!
Oh, is that right? Well, you wouldn't be the first person who's tried to put Wangsheng Funeral Parlor out of business. If you're serious about it, you'll have your work cut out for you. Traveler, Paimon, I'll catch you all another time.
Is she finally gone? All's well that ends well. If you ask Paimon, we should probably do something to celebrate this hard-earned family reunion. At times like this, a grand celebratory feast is in order.
It feels like it was Jiangli and Ayu around the dinner table.
Yay! Paimon can't wait! Alright, first things first, off to the market for some fresh ingredients. Let's go!
Wait up! I'll come too!
Baizhu, thank you so much for everything you've done for us.
Don't mention it, Jiangli. I was just doing my duty.
Just your duty, huh? Baizhu, Changsheng, would you mind if we took this conversation outside?
Now that you are part zombie, there are some rules that you need to know.
Yes, ma'am. I'm listening.
First, don't forget to stretch your body regularly. Second, don't forget to...
Yes? Go on. Don't forget to...
I forgot.
A bitter pill to swallow.
Time flies. It's been so long since we bade each other farewell in Chenyu Vale. Changsheng, you're the same as ever. You haven't changed one bit.
You, on the other hand, have changed a lot.
You're right. My younger self would have never imagined that things would one day turn out this way. Or that you'd turn out this way, Baizhu. I've taken a look at your elixir of immortality. It's not altogether dissimilar from the poison I concocted in terms of the way it functions.
I have to say, Jiangli, it was a stroke of genius to use poison to maintain life. I hope you're not too upset at me for copying your methods.
No, not at all. With your intellect, even if you'd never seen my poison, I believe you would have eventually arrived at the same approach. But I'm still impressed by how quickly you managed to gain such a thorough understanding of it. Jialiang's still only been in your care for a few days. Not just that, you even managed to improve upon the original formula. That cannot be explained by intellect alone. Baiju, be honest with me. Did you try out some of the poison on yourself?
Huh. Told you the truth would surface sooner or later.
Life force isn't the only thing that Changshang's contract lets you transfer between bodies, is it?
Nothing gets past you, Jiangli. You are correct. Besides life force, Changsheng's secret art also allows for the transfer of toxins and diseases. When I treated Jia Liang for the second time, I transferred some of the poison from his body into my own. Not only did this allow me to alleviate the burden on him, but it also gave me an opportunity to study its properties. There is no need to worry about any long-term consequences to my health, however. Now that the source has been destroyed, any remaining poison in me will have already dissipated.
But you took such a huge risk. If we hadn't destroyed the god's remains back there, then even you might have... What am I saying? I'm in no position to criticize you for this. The reason I left our master and went into hiding all those years ago was that he was getting old, and I didn't want him using up any more of his own life force to treat my husband. But in the end, how were my methods any different? I risked one life to save another, and then you tried the poison on yourself too. It looks like both of us have ended up going the same way as our master before us. Are all disciples of Chenyu Vale destined to turn out this way? To live a short life, having given away our own for the sake of others? To fight relentlessly against the natural course of life and death, whatever the cost? Maybe our fate is sealed the moment we decide to study medicine.
We are doctors, Jiangli. We ought never say that anyone's fate is sealed.
Baiju, I can tell that, over the years, you've used the contract with Changshang to transfer many diseases and toxins to yourself. There are so many that some of them I don't even recognize. Can you still stop before it's too late?
I think you know the answer, Jiangli. Every one of us from Chenyu Vale believes in the same thing.
Hey, food's ready!
Mom, come and join us. The Traveler taught me a load of new recipes and said even Dad'll be able to taste them. Come and try them out.
Yes, darling. Mom will be there in just a second. Hey, slow down. Baiju, I know I won't be able to convince you, but please don't forget that if one day you're not around anymore, Chi-Chi, Gui, and all the friends who have grown fond of you, they will all miss you dearly.
There's no need to worry, Jiangli. I know what I'm doing.
I can only hope so.
Baiju, what did Jiang Li mean by not around anymore? Are you gonna be okay? Every single mortal I've ever contracted with, including Baiju and Zhongli's master, has passed away at a young age.
Wait, that doesn't make any sense. You said that the contract with you helps people live longer.
It is a very long story.
Long ago, when plagues ravaged the land, one doctor made a pledge to rid the world of pain and suffering. But even the most ingenious mortal medicine could not stay the tide of disease. And after working tirelessly for many years, even his dearest loved ones fell sick and bade their final farewell. Legends told of an herb lord in Chenyu Vale who could cure any illness known to mankind. The doctor sought the herb lord, but found only a white snake, its breathing weak and its power all but spent.
Sign this contract and let our lives be joined. Then I will impart to you the secret art of healing. But be warned, this art will harm your own health.
With means beyond human ken, the doctor could now reverse the process of death. And yet, the time still came to say goodbye. Only now, the one departing was the doctor, his life force spent. His final act in life was to pass on the contract to his final patient, his favorite disciple. The disciple chose to dedicate their life to saving the lives of others. And generation upon generation followed in these footsteps. Since I inherited this contract, I've always respected the path taken by my predecessors, and followed it myself unquestioningly. That is, until I tried to use the art to save my own disciple's beloved. She begged me not to use up my own life force. She said that this art is a poisoned chalice, an evil and unnatural practice. She did not wish to sacrifice one life for the sake of another, when both were lives she treasured. Only then did it occur to me. Did I not suffer when my master passed away, just as patients' families do at their loved one's deathbed? Are not the lives cut short by this contract just as worthy of saving as any patients? What is this contract to us? Medicine or poison? Alas, I no longer have enough time left to find the answer. I entrust to your care both Changsheng and this final question. May you find a remedy for this conundrum, which has ailed us so.
Time and again, no matter how much I try to warn them or balance their chi, I can never save them. And you? What's your answer?
If I abandoned the contract and left you without a host, what would happen?
I suppose I'd spend my final moments taking a nice nap on Mount Yaojun. Then I'd be reunited with my old friends and your predecessors.
Then it's decided. If there's a life in front of me that deserves to be saved, why shouldn't I do everything within my power to save it?
Once again, it's the same answer. So be it. Close your eyes. Who knows how many more people will take on this contract?
None. This contract will end with me.
My contract has strict requirements on the host's natural temperament. All my hosts have been most pure of heart.
But when one with an altruistic nature gains access to this art, They are more seduced than the average person by the miracle of overturning the laws of life and death. Though they know better than anyone else the fate that awaits them, when faced with the sorrows of humanity and the pain of losing their nearest and dearest, they cannot help but reach beyond human means. They are like moths that throw themselves into the flame, seeking a glimmer of hope in a dark world filled with pain and suffering.
So, Baihu, does that mean...
I suppose that would make me a moth that yearns for the light, but doesn't want to be burned to a crisp. Chang Sheng's art can transfer pain and suffering between people, but it cannot reduce the total amount of pain in the world. It's just like we witnessed. Either Jia Liang feared for Jiang Li's life, or Jiang Li grieved over Jia Liang's sacrifice. I have nothing but the utmost respect for my predecessors, who sacrificed their lives for their principles. But I do not wish to join their ranks, nor do I wish to pass on this contract to anyone else in the future.
Huh? But didn't you already transfer a ton of diseases onto yourself?
What makes a poison poison? And what makes a disease? If disease is defined as deviation from normal functioning, then who knows? Perhaps the true elixir of immortality could in fact be a kind of poison. Many may view the notion of searching for immortality in poisons and illnesses as a flagrant violation of the natural order. But to me, it is no different from the way our ancestors tested the medicinal qualities of herbs by sampling each and every one. I don't want those who come after me to lose their lives to this contract. Nor do I wish for Cheng Sheng to perish from losing her host. This leaves only one solution, doesn't it? Precisely. I will be Cheng Sheng's final host, and the tradition of passing down the contract will end with me.
Even the gods of old struggle to achieve true immortality. First you want to save others, then you want to save yourself. Now you even want to save me. You're getting greedy, Baiju.
But isn't wanting to have it all what makes us human? For a selfish moth like me, who's afraid of the flame yet yearns for the light, the only path forward is up towards the moon.
For once, Paimon just does not know what to say.
Dr. Baiju, Traveler! What are you still chatting about? The food's about to get cold.
We also have coconut milk for Changsheng and Paimon.
Okay, fine. Let's go grab some food. Paimon has a bunch of burning questions, but they can wait till after we've eaten.
I do envy Paimon sometimes. Eating her fill is enough to satisfy her body and mind.
True. And yet, although we call them simple pleasures, are such things as these not precisely why we mortals cling desperately to the life we have?
Coming to be!
Our kite is so high up. Thank you for inviting me, Yao Yao. I am having a lot of fun.
I'm glad. If you want, we can go fly kites some other time, too. The fun doesn't have to end today.
Really?
How about we do it during the day next time? That way, we can see the design better. When it flies super high up, it will look exactly like a real finch.
Okay. Can I take this kite to bed with me?
But of course.
Senua Kiosk, place to go for classic Yua dishes.
clouds high. The birds come!
Time to shine! My apologies! Embrace the ice! You're toast! Whirling snow! Take flight! Shower me with praise!
Urgently seeking one temporary chef willing to pay top Mora, salary negotiable. Look, Traveler, an urgent hiring notice and they're paying top Mora too! Oh, Paimon likes the sound of that. You're right, it is strange. Do you think something happened to Yanxiao? Because that guy barely lets anyone ever set foot in his kitchen. Doesn't exactly seem like the type to hire help. The notice says interested parties should go upstairs and talk to the innkeeper Huayan. Should we go and see what's up? Well, that. And to check up on Yanxiao, of course.
Boss, there's really no need for this. It's just a little burn, that's all. It won't get in the way of my work.
Perhaps not, but continuing to work will only hinder your recovery. You need to rest for a few days. We'll figure something out.
Huayan! Yanxiao!
Oh? Traveler and Paimon! What brings you to this neck of the woods?
Xiao.
I knew we shouldn't have posted that notice. It's really nothing to worry about. I'm fine. I swear.
How kind of you. My thanks to you both. And thanks on Yanxiao's behalf, too. There's nothing to be embarrassed about, Yanxiao. Just tell them what happened.
Oh, all right. Well, basically, we had a lot of guests pouring in for the lantern rite. Things got busy, I started rushing, and I ended up accidentally burning my hand while plating a dish. Well, you know what they say. Play with fire long enough and you're bound to get burned. Even the best chefs slip up sometimes. Anyway, it's nothing, just a tiny burn. I can still...
Now. I don't want you pushing yourself. You'll only make it worse. And then you'll be looking at more than just a couple of days off to recover.
But the lantern rite's only just finished. And we're still getting tons of guests. Now's not a good time for me to rest. But, plus, lots of the guests are visiting from other nations. We can't just bring in some...
Listen to you. Anyone would think that you're the boss and not me. But he's not wrong. Yanxiao was one of the favorites in the Masterful Chefs tournament. No matter how you look at it, his are big boots to fill.
I don't mean to boast, but any chef of my caliber probably has their own restaurant to look after.
Looks like we might have to increase the pay we're offering even further.
Do we know anyone that's a good chef and has the time to help out? Oh, of course, you!
Oh, right. Yes. Now I think about it, I do recall hearing good things about your cooking ability. I suppose I'd added you to my mental list of people who can hold their own in a combat situation, but forgot you can cook.
Why are you even keeping a mental list of people who can fight?
Maybe a story for another time. More importantly, I'm sure Yanxiao would be comfortable leaving his kitchen in your hands, if anyone's. What do you think, Yanxiao?
Well, since it's you, I suppose that's better than anyone else.
What do you think, Traveler? Should we do it?
I should warn you that cooking for customers is quite a different ballgame from cooking for yourself, so I'll stick around the kitchen over the next few days to help smooth things over.
Oh, so he's not leaving the kitchen after all?
I believe there's some spare kitchenware here at the inn. Boss, would you mind?
Of course. I'll take care of it. Whew. All done. Come, take a look. This was made with your measurements in mind. It's nothing. A little handicraft and elbow grease goes a long way. All right, Yanxiao. I'll leave you to take it from here.
You really went to all the trouble of building a new stovetop? What was wrong with the original? Boy, you really hate when people touch your stuff, huh?
No, it's nothing like that. As Boss always says, hire who you trust and trust who you hire. I just thought the original setup might be a little, tall for you. Anyway, as I was saying, cooking for guests is different from cooking for yourself. Not only do you have to execute on taste, aroma, and appearance, but you also need to ensure speed, precision, and consistency. Having the right equipment is a big part of that. Ill-suited equipment doesn't just make the job more tiring, it also slows you down, and paying customers don't have unlimited patience. Sometimes cooking is all about being well prepared. That's how you ensure speed.
Okay, and what about precision and consistency?
Precision all comes down to using your eyes. Where to slice into a particular cut of meat, how much oil to use, how to tell when a dish is done cooking. When you cook for yourself, you can always add salt if it's too bland or add water if it's too salty. You can tweak the taste as you go, but in a restaurant, there's not that much room for trial and error.
Worst case scenario, Paimon can deal with any subpar dishes by making sure they get properly disposed of.
The final thing you have to focus on is consistency. You have to be able to handle the most challenging orders with the same level of technique and skill as the easiest ones. This is particularly important when you have guests from all over, each with their own tastes and preferences. You have to cater to their own dietary needs while also giving them the opportunity to enjoy our local delicacies.
This last point is making Paimon's head spin.
Don't worry. Matter of fact, someone as well-traveled as you may even have a better handle on it than me once you get started. And of course, I'll be around to help you over the next few days. I don't think we'll have any trouble making all our guests feel right at home.
parties are a must for the well-mannered. If you'd like to learn the proper etiquette, I'd be happy to teach you. Boring. Isn't there anything else more interesting to do? Being too popular can be such a hassle. Who knew the people would adore me so much? more interesting to do. Tea parties are a must for the well-mannered. If you'd like to learn the proper etiquette, I'd be happy to teach you.
There's no time to lose, so let's get started. I imagine you probably have a good handle on the cooking side of things already. What you need to pay attention to is remembering each table's order. Try not to get them mixed up.
Oh, Paimon's memory is like a steel trap. This is gonna be a cinch. Which ticket are we on again? Table 1 was onions, but no chilies. Table 2 was chilies, but no onions. And table 3 was... Table 3 was... Was Paimon just sleep floating? We didn't even get a break in the middle. Paimon's brain has turned to mush. Is it always this busy here?
No, but this is peak season. You both did a mighty fine job for your first time serving guests at the inn. Luckily, faces this time around, so we didn't get any strange requests. Otherwise, today would have been even more challenging.
No strange request? Someone asked for almond tofu drizzled in soy sauce. Even Paimon has never tried that combination.
It's a wide world out there. People have all kinds of different tastes. Being able to cater to all is the real essence of Liyue cuisine. Also, the thing about requests is that they're usually very specific. So as long as you do what they asked, you're unlikely to have any issues. What's really tricky is when guests give you free rein to do anything you want.
Excuse me. Are you still open by any chance?
Huh? Paimon knows that voice. Let's go check it out!
What should we do? It doesn't look like anyone's here. Only we'd gotten here a bit sooner.
It's all right. If we start building a campfire now, we'll be eating before too long.
Right. Besides, if anyone's to blame, it's Linny. So busy being a greedy culture vulture that he lost track of time.
Linny, Lynette, Fremine, it is you!
Paimon? So, is the Traveler here?
Traveler, Paimon! What a nice surprise!
Paimon was gonna say the same thing! We're just lending a helping hand at the inn. Anyway, so that's how we ended up here. But what about you guys? Don't tell us. Father sent you on another mission?
No, quite the opposite, actually. We're in Liyue on vacation, and while we're here, I thought a cultural tour might be in order.
Father said we deserve some rest after everything that happened recently. Otherwise, it could jeopardize our next mission.
It's not every day we get this kind of opportunity. Lenny thought it might be fun to spend some time in Liyue, especially since it's Lantern Rite season.
We could hardly pass up the opportunity to watch a Liyue-style magic show. Although, I think they call it conjuring here.
In our time here, we've seen conjuring tricks incorporated into it, and even a wushu dance. It was amazing.
So, we decided to stay here for a few more days to see what other forms of inspiration this land might have in store for us. We visited Granny Roshin in Chingsa village not long ago, and today we continued our cultural tour in the area around here.
In the end, though, we lost track of time. We haven't even eaten anything yet.
And speaking of eating, part of both Liyue and Fontaine cuisine, but it's cooked very differently here. We simply had to try some local seafood after coming all this way. That's another reason why we decided to extend our trip.
Oh, need any recommendations? What have you tried so far?
That fish one with the misleading name. Sounds bland, but it's drowning in hot chilies.
Oh, you mean blackback perch soup? You're right, the name doesn't give much away.
It looked and smelled so appetizing that Lynette took a huge mouthful, blissfully unaware that she was about to set her mouth on fire. She could barely speak for the rest of the day after that.
Luckily, that wasn't a huge adjustment for her.
What? Aren't you guys hungry too?
Yes.
Yes, I'm ready to eat. Traveler, I'm afraid we'll have to send you back to the kitchen now. Good question. I doubt we'll be able to decipher the menu, so why don't you recommend something? You should be pretty familiar with our tastes.
One more thing. Please, if you have a heart, don't make it spicy.
I thought the blackback perch stew was actually pretty tasty.
And now that you know it's spicy, you won't be caught off guard, right? Why don't we give it another chance?
Once was more than enough.
This could be obstacle pantaloon.
Fontaine, huh? No wonder they can't handle too much spice. Still, if we make the food too bland, they might as well be eating back home. There's this crab and shrimp stir-fry I know that could work. It's quite heavily seasoned, but it's a lot milder than it looks. It has a light but really satisfying flavor.
Ooh, that sounds perfect! What's it called?
Well, this is where it gets interesting. They call it the Palace Jewels. The crab roe is supposed to look like pearls of gold, and the shrimp meat like chunks of jade. Here's the recipe. When you're ready, go ahead and give it a try.
Could it be true? What I've heard.
Sorry for the wait. This dish is called the Palace Jewels. Enjoy.
Ah, yes. We meant to say, you two must be tired after a long day of work. Do you want to eat with us?
Oh, now that you mention it, Paimon is a little hungry. Well, if you insist, then who are we to refuse? Oh, right, of course. You're still our customers. Why aren't you eating?
The sauce looks a little overpowering.
According to Liyue custom, it's probably good table manners to let someone else go first.
Looks delicious, traveler. I guess I'll dig in first. Here goes.
What is it? Do you need some water?
No. It's delicious. The flavor is so pure. It's drenched in sauce, but somehow it just enhances the natural flavor of the seafood. Try it for yourselves.
All right.
What is that? Crab roe?
Yep, you have quite the palate, Lynette.
No wonder it pairs so well with the shrimp meat. I've never seen it prepared this way before.
According to the creator, chewy crab complements succulent shrimp, making a spectacular seafood ensemble with a succulent flavor and luscious mouthfeel. The crab roe glitters like pearls of gold, and the shrimp shines like chunks of jade. Hence its name, the Palace Jewels.
So that's where the name comes from. Huh. I suppose it's quite fitting then.
Huh. Was Paimon always this well-spoken?
This dish must be right up your alley, Lynette. Huh?
It's half gone already? When did that happen?
I heard that in Liyue. The biggest compliment you can pay to the chef is to leave a clean plate. It's delicious. Thank you ever so much.
Wait, don't fight over it! Hey, leave some for Paimon!
I think I'm finally getting the hang of chopsticks. Yeah. Well, Linny and Lynette picked it up in no time, but they're naturally dexterous. Unlike me, it's taken me a lot longer, but I'm slowly getting there. Oh, speaking of chopsticks, in one of the shows we've seen here, someone performed a conjuring trick using a bowl and chopsticks. So, if I want to be a good magician's assistant, I need to keep practicing.
Lynette's not usually so forthcoming about what she likes. But this time, well, she's expressed it in more ways than one. I guess you've rubbed off on her too. Or maybe your cooking is simply too delicious to resist. The next time our paths cross in Fontaine, you'll have to fire up your cooking skills for my other siblings as well. How does that sound, oh great master chef? Oh yeah? Well then, I'll have to clear my schedule.
The show begins!
Calorie surplus detected. Digestion mode engaged. Yeah. Well, Linny and I are usually careful about what we eat, because we have to stay in performance shape. That, plus it's generally bad manners to overindulge at the dinner table. But once in a while, it's nice to treat yourself in the company of family. Besides, if I'd waited until my brothers were finished trying to out-polite each other, the food would have gone cold.
So your friends like the dish, huh? Well done. Not bad at all for your first day on the job. There'll be more to come, so keep it up.